of Women's Summit to other spaces and places. And there is no reason why Boston, right, her hometown, should not be opening up their doors. And so when you talk about walking the walk and talking the talk and being collaborative, I said, you know what, I have to fundraise for my campaign, but it shouldn't just be about me. You know what, I'm gonna make some investments, I'm gonna collaborate with Vanessa, and we're gonna do this together. And this is what it looks like when women see each other and support one another, because you took a vision to a whole nother level. And look at this place. We deserve good things, y'all. We deserve good things. This is what it looks like when we pour into each other. And I'm so glad that you're taking time out of your schedule today to be in community with other women and to support each other. And I just want to say thank you, Vanessa.
Thank you, Julia.
Thank you.
In full transparency, I don't know that we would have come back to Boston if we didn't get this type of support. It's hard, and there's so much glamorized marketing and all of these things, and it's hard. It's really hard. So I want to share in vulnerability, when you are getting rejected, there are women who are going to support you. Ask for help. That's all it takes. And stop rejecting yourself first by not showing up and asking these questions. I do want to take 10 seconds to ask Juliana Hernandez, Sydney Smith, and Sophia Quinones to stand up, please. I want to give them a round of applause. That's collective for this gorgeous stage. Sydney for the incredible decor and the flowers, and for Sophia for our Instagrammable pop-up. And of course, there will be many more others that we're going to thank throughout the day. We want to welcome Carla Rojo, who's going to be our MC for today from
Emmy Award winning reporter. Yes.
Thank you, Carla, for leading the day.
To be with every single one of you today. And Vanessa, muchas gracias. Thank you for everything you've done. I've told you many times, she is an inspiration. She motivates me every day to really just break through the different adversities that we face as women of color, as immigrants. We all have a different walk in this life. Some of the stories you're going to hear today are some great positive ones, but you're also going to hear the challenges and obstacles as women that we face every single day. So once again, thank you for having me, Vanessa. Julia, my girl over here. Anytime I need to do an interview, she is available in a second. And the best part is that she's available for me in Spanish and Espanol. So she does the work out here. So I'm so grateful for you, Julia.
You know what it is that, okay, I know Vanessa's gonna get really mad. She's like, who's giving this woman a mic? Because she keeps talking. But you have to understand, right? To be a reporter and to be a woman of color in the industry, it is not easy. But what is more important for me to uplift is that our stories are never told. And our stories are never told by the people who are living those realities. So whenever she calls, I pick up, because it is important to have representation and to own your own narrative. And so it's important for us to support each other in that way. So I just want to say thank you for telling the stories that most people don't have the courage to. So thank you.
I appreciate that. And I've always said it's not that our people don't have a voice. A lot of times they just don't have the platform. And that's really why I'm in this position. My parents were undocumented up until I was 17 from Medellin, Colombia. And seeing their struggles and seeing everything that they had to work, for me to be standing here, I'm getting a little emotional, but it's true. I mean, it's taken a lot of work, not just for me, but team, right? That's how we're able to get here today, is with the support from so many people. So I'm so grateful for that.
So final thoughts, a big round of applause for Carla and Julia. We could have not made this happen without your support and collaboration. And Julia, you're fucking awesome. Sorry.
I was wondering if we could swear today. I'm excited. Okay, that's good.
All right.
Okay. All right. PG,
I really just wanted to commend you for all the work that you do for our city, despite the adversities, and that's going to be one of our panels that we're going to be talking about, so we can dive in. It's about talking about the raw. the ugly, the vulnerable, which I actually think there's beauty behind, and it should not be a taboo topic. So round of applause for Julia Mejia for once again supporting our city.
All right. I have a young woman that's standing over there. I'm just trying to give you some. Anna, raise your hand. Anna, okay. Am I breaking the stage? Oh my God. Ay, Dios mío. This is not on camera, is it? I guess this is one of the reasons why people just like go with it with me, because I am who I am, and I'm just so grateful to be here. We're gonna get started. We're gonna bring up our panelists, right?
No, we're gonna do breath work and meditation.
Yeah. Oh, we're gonna. Oh, see, that's what I need. I need somebody to tell me what to do, so I'll get on the stage.
Yes, I'm gonna steal it from you, Julia. Okay, is that okay?
Yeah.
You got to enjoy it and just.
Oh, okay. Good. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm gonna take it from you too, Vanessa, for 2 seconds before we bring our moderator up, right? Or when we do our breath work. So before we start, I kind of try to do this every morning before I start my day. I want everyone to just kind of close your eyes, center yourself, and be grateful for being here today with so many people. I know we all are going through our own struggles, our own obstacles, sadness, grief, but let's be present, let's be here, and let's just think about one thing we did this week, one thing that we're like, you know what? I am a badass woman. Put that in your head. And now give yourself your flowers, okay? A big round of applause to every single one of you before we get started. All right, so like Vanessa mentioned, we are going to have a little bit of breath work.
And meditation, a very untraditional form.
Yes, and this is good. This is actually perfect to kind of start that
Yeah,
part
so
off.
it's tradition for every Power Woman Summit. We do something to break the ice and bring our energy in a collective. So, want to welcome.
Of course, we're gonna welcome Sabrina Palazzo, right?
Yes, so she's
Sabrina
the
Palazzo.
founder of Source Method, and she has a very unique and untraditional approach that's going to change your life, and I'm not kidding. So please give her a round of applause to my wonderful, beautiful, loving soul sister here. Come on.
All right. Hi, everyone. Hi. Look at these beautiful faces. For those of you who are new to me, my name is Sabrina Palazzo, and I'm the founder of Source Method, which is a breathwork company whose sole purpose is to help you reconnect to you. We combine a 3-part breathing pattern with modern music that you love, music that makes you feel. And our main mission really is to make this work accessible, approachable, and fun. Now today we have an incredible day, as you know, of community and connection and listening and learning and opportunities. And in order for us to get as much as we possibly can from today, we've got to drop out of the mind. More specifically, we've got to drop out of the mind and into the body. Now, don't get me wrong, but the mind plays a crucial role in our success and happiness in life and success and happiness at events like today's. But oftentimes, the mind can take a little bit too much of our power. Because up here can also exist very human fears and worries and doubts and insecurities and comparisons. Up here can also exist judgments about ourselves that definitely aren't true. Up here can exist stories that maybe make us feel a little bit nervous to be in rooms like this, perhaps, or could even prevent us from stepping out of our comfort zone and introducing ourselves to someone new, making a new connection, opening the door to different possibilities and opportunities that are meant for us, that 1000% are in this room today. So, in addition to that, and this is so important, as women, especially as women, our power lies not only in our unique intellect, but also in our intuition, also in our gut instincts, also in our heart's wisdom. Combine a woman's mind with her intuition and her heart, and the sky is not even the limit with what you can experience, what you can feel, what you can heal, what you can create in life and all aspects of it. And so in order to unlock all of that today, we've got to drop just a little bit more out of the mind and a little bit more into the body. You see, the language of our intuition and our heart is spoken through the body. So we've got to be connected to it, grounded in it, in order to hear it. Today, once we do that with breath work, the whisper of your intuition may sound like, introduce yourself to that person over here, right? Or leave your business card on that table over here, or share your story with that woman over there. And so my job today is to help you drop a little bit more out of, or disconnect a little bit more out of what doesn't serve you and reconnect fully to what does. So that you can give and receive as much as you can from today, so you can get as much as you can from the Power of Women Summit. Are you in? Yes, amazing. I knew you would be. So I am all the way over to the left. So we're going to talk about breathwork. Breathwork is a general term that refers to any specific pattern of breathing. Today we're going to be working with two. The first technique is the 3-part breath. It's at the core of Source Method. It's activating. It will drop you into the body. It's as follows. It's an inhale into the belly only, followed by an inhale into the chest only, followed by a nice natural exhale release. Try it with me. Deep inhale into the belly like you're sipping through a straw. Deep inhale into the chest. Exhale, release. One more time for good measure. Deep inhale, belly. Deep inhale, chest. Exhale, release. Perfect. That's the 3-part breath. The second technique we're going to be working with today is called heart coherence. This is a very simple technique. When done correctly, it will generate coherence between the brain and the heart, help us foster those feelings of peace and calm, and help us connect to those heart emotions like abundance, joy, bliss, etc. It's very simple. It's an inhale for 4 through the nose and an exhale for 4 through the mouth. Now, the key here is to make sure that we're focusing on our heart. As we're breathing in through the nose, we want to visualize our heart expanding. And as we exhale, we want to bring our heart back to center. Try it with me. Inhale for 4 through the nose, open the heart for 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, bring it back. 2, 3, 4. Inhale, open the heart. Beautiful. Exhale, bring it back. Perfect. Doesn't that feel so good? So that is heart coherence. One more time, 3-part breath. It's a deep inhale, belly. Deep inhale, chest. Exhale, release. We're going to play some good music to it in true Source Method fashion. If at any point this becomes too activating for you, just take a break and enjoy the vibe. Okay? So if everyone could go ahead and gently close their eyes. Gonna have you rest your hands on your lap. Go ahead and take a nice deep inhale here through the nose. Exhale, side out. Again, nice deep inhale here through the nose. Exhale, side out. We're gonna begin with our 3-part breath. Deep belly inhale, deep heart inhale, exhale, release. Again, belly, chest, release. Deep belly inhale, deep heart inhale, exhale, let it go. Again, belly, chest, release. Keep going with that tempo. Deep belly inhale, deep heart inhale, exhale, let it go. Nice deep breaths, belly, chest, release. Let's see if we can speed it up. Here we go. Belly, chest, release. Belly, chest, release. Keep following that tempo. Connecting to each inhale as you breathe in, and letting go of what doesn't serve you as you breathe out. Sticking with it. Belly, chest, release. Belly, chest, exhale. It's okay if this feels weird. It's okay if this feels different. Belly, chest, exhale. See if you can breathe 1% deeper. Really connecting to your breath. Beautiful job. Taking a pause here, breathing normally in and out through your nose. Just feeling the sensations in your body. Maybe you've begun to get activated. We're going to begin again in a moment, starting off slow, then picking up pace, just like before. Let's see if you can breathe 1% deeper into your belly. Here we go. Belly inhale, chest inhale, exhale, let it go. Beautiful job. Deep belly inhale, deep heart inhale, release. Belly, chest, exhale, let it go. Speed it up. Belly, chest, release. Belly, chest, release. Sticking with it. Remember, it's normal to experience resistance anytime we're doing anything new, let alone breathing in a new way. So on your exhales, let go of resistance, let go of nerves, let go of whatever else does not serve you. Digging open, belly, chest, release. Belly, chest, exhale. Few more, you got this. Feeling your body, feeling the sensation. Beautiful job keeping your eyes closed. Just tuning into the sensations of your body. What do you feel? What do you notice? Moving into heart coherence breathing. Remember, it's an inhale for 4 through the nose and an exhale for 4 through the mouth. We really want to focus on expanding our heart as we inhale and bring it back as we exhale. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, bring it back. 2, 3. Inhale, open the heart. Exhale, bring it back. Inhale through the nose. Exhale through the mouth. Following that pace. Keeping your focus on your heart. Inhale, expand the heart as far as you can. Exhale, bring it back. Connecting to this process. See if you can breathe 1% deeper. Inhale, open the heart. Exhale, bring it back. Fill up the room we're in with your heart on your next inhale. Beautiful job. Breathe in appreciation for being here today. Exhale anything that doesn't serve you. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, let it go. 2, 3, 4. Keeping your eyes closed. Breathing normally as you inhale and exhale. Allow your heart to breathe with you. In your mind, see yourself stepping out of your comfort zone today and being rewarded for it. In your mind, see yourself bringing your authentic self, your true self, your powerful self to every conversation, every connection that's waiting for you today. In your mind, seeing yourself leaving here today, being so happy that you came, so proud of yourself for the presence you brought, for the heart that you allowed lead you. Go ahead and take a nice deep inhale here through the nose. The biggest one you've taken all day. Exhale, sigh out whatever doesn't serve you. Gently opening your eyes to a new room. Welcome to the Power of Women Summit. My name is Sabrina Palazzo with Source Method, and thank you for breathing with me.
Sabrina, that was amazing. Oh my gosh. I kind of feel like now I'm in the zone. Thank you. Can we get another round of applause for Sabrina? Okay. How is everyone feeling? Yeah? That was great. That definitely kind of all relaxed us. Now we're ready to kind of start this off and hear some of those great stories that we're going to have with the different panelists. And I'm just so happy to be here. Alrighty. So we're going to actually introduce the first panel. So this is going to be navigating adversity. And one of the things that Vanessa mentioned when she was up here was asking for help. A lot of times, that's really difficult. And I'm the first one to admit asking for help can be tough. And a lot of times when we fail, maybe, in something that we really wanted, that we worked really hard for, we really feel like that's the end of the road. How can we get back up? So this is going to be a little bit about that. So I'm going to introduce the moderator, Rachel Rollins. She's a former elected official here at the state of Massachusetts. I'm not so hurt. Oh, you are? Please sit on me. I was looking for you. I was like, where'd you go? Well, another round of applause, please. Thank you. Some of the panelists that we are going to have here today, Julia Mejia, of course, our city councilor for the city of Boston, Liz Miranda, state senator of Massachusetts, and Karen, I don't want to pronounce your last name the wrong way. What is it?
Award-winning chef,
Yes.
celebrity.
How do you pronounce your last name, Karen? Akanowitz. Okay, I wanted to make sure. Karen Akanowitz, and she's like Vanessa was saying right over here. She's actually an award-winning celebrity chef and restaurateur. Welcome.
Let's have everyone come on up and sit. Julie, do you want to take this?
Money.
Money. Everybody got a mic? So before we get started, I know that food is gonna be ready to be served. So when your table does get called to go up, just be respectful, try to keep it down so that way we can hear some of the great stories we're about to hear. Thank you. Rachel Rollins, please take it away.
Thank you so much. So I am Rachel Rollins. I'd love to set the table for a little bit before we introduce a little bit more about this fabulous group of women next to me. So this panel is navigating through adversity, and unless you have been living under a rock and you don't read any newspapers, I am supremely qualified to be moderating this panel. So I was the elected district attorney of Suffolk County, which is Boston, Chelsea, Winthrop, and Revere, and then the United States Attorney of Massachusetts, first Black woman to ever have that role. And I resigned back in May of 2023. We're going to talk about adversity, but I do think it's important that we just, for 1 minute, talk about some really positive things that are happening in Massachusetts. In the last 4 years or so, we have seen the election of the first woman elected mayor of the city of Boston, in Michelle Wu. We have seen Attorney General Campbell, Black woman who is our Attorney General, ascend from the Boston City Council up to the Attorney General's position, elected. We've seen Governor Healy and Lieutenant Governor Driscoll, who ascended from being mayor, the Lieutenant Governor, and the Attorney General into the Governor and the Lieutenant Governor. We've seen former Congresswoman Catherine Clark, former state rep, now U.S. Congresswoman, ascended not only within our congressional delegation, but also to minority whip in the entire United States Congress, which is the second highest ranking position in the United States Congress of the United States of America. Can we say United States one more time? In the country. But anyways, so, and then Senator Warren and Congresswoman Presley, of course. Chief Justice Budd of our Supreme Judicial Court, Senate President Spilka. We have some really proud things to be happy about as women. But we also in Massachusetts have seen what happened to Harvard University President Claudine Gay. And we do have a chef on this panel. We've also seen, if you read the Globe, sort of what they have done to restaurateur Barbara Lynch, who owns several restaurants. If you've ever eaten at Number 9 Park or Drink or B&G Oyster, no matter where you fall on the spectrum of whether you completely agree with what happened to those two women or completely disagree or somewhere in between, I can promise you male restaurateurs have struggled with substance use and have done far worse than Barbara Lynch has. And they did not find themselves on the cover of newspapers, and they were not vilified and, essentially executed, as far as professionally. So what we need to do is band together. And we know as women we have to be excellent, and I can tell you that this panel is. So let me take a minute to describe the fabulousness I left. Chef Karen.
Just joking.
Chef Karen Akunowitz is a celebrity chef, restaurateur, and the 2018 James Beard Foundation Award winner for Best Chef Northeast. That is the equivalent of the Oscar for chefs. So this is not small, right? She is a big deal. She is the chef owner of the Fox and the Knife in South Boston, She currently has opened 3 restaurants, and she is a well-known television personality and fan favorite on Bravo TV's Emmy-nominated show Top Chef, as well as Food Network's Tournament of Champions. She, as I said, has 3 restaurants, her own wine, and her own olive oil, and this is just the very beginning of this fabulous woman in the green. Next to her, another fabulous woman in green, is State Senator Liz Miranda. Liz, or Senator, excuse me, is a Wellesley College alumna and proud graduate of the John D. O'Brien School of Mathematics and Science. Liz was Wellesley's 143rd commencement speaker for the class of 2021, one of very few, I think one of 16, Black women to ever speak at this prestigious university. And I can tell you Liz is a fighter. I had the privilege of running for office when she did as a state rep, and she won handily, and then ran an incredibly tight field for state senator and handled that with poise and grace as well. We are lucky to have you, and that is not her last stop, I can assure you. And then everyone's important, but the reason that we are actually all here today is because of Boston City Councilor at Large, Julia Mejia. So Julia, a lot of people don't know this, we shared a campaign office. I won as DA, and then she jumped in and won as Boston City Councilor by 1 vote. This is true, right? 1 vote. And so that place has some good mojo. If anyone wants to run for office, talk to us afterwards. But Julia is, she's phenomenal. Her journey from the Dominican Republic to Dorchester at age 5, she was raised by a single mom, undocumented, and she was advocating, like many of us have, for family members, that English may not be their first language or government is hard for all of us. And Julia has had some incredible legislation that she's enacted for communities that don't see themselves often in the Boston City Council or government. So Julia is the first Latina elected in the history of the city of Boston for the Boston City Council. And what I would like to do is get started with some questions for these lovely, lovely, lovely women. So Chef, I'm going to start with you, if you don't mind. I get all my papers. Sorry. So Chef, if you don't mind, can you talk to us a little bit about adversity you have faced in your ascension to where you are, and whether you think gender played a role in that?
Make sure that this is fantastic. How much time do we have today?
Let's have you give us maybe 2 or 3 examples. You got about a minute and a half or so.
Perfect. I'll talk fast. No, I think something I talk about a lot because it pertains to money, and I think that's something we need to talk about more as women, is always money, power, influence. I think it's incredibly important. I think many of us were taught growing up, I'm probably older than a lot of people in this room, but I think that many of us were taught not to talk about money, right? It's inappropriate, it's low, it's so many different things. And if you're like me and you grew up without money, it's really something you were taught not to talk about. I was lucky to, my former business partner, Joanne Chang, told me time and time again, one of the best things I learned from her in 7 years is that money is just data. It's just data. That's all it is. And so whether we're saying, well, how much are you getting paid for that appearance? Or how much are you making for your salary? It's an important thing to talk about, and it's just information. When I was opening my first restaurant, I had no idea how to fund it. I did not know how people did it. And I asked folks that I knew, and there were some folks that were kind of helpful, and there were many people that were not helpful at all. I didn't know how to write an email to say, hey, do you want to give me $100,000, right? I didn't even ask for 100. I did tiny parcels of $25,000. We raised $800,000, which is like nothing to open a restaurant. Typically, it's $1 to $3 million. I had just won my James Beard Award, which is the culinary equivalent to the Oscars. It's a huge, damn deal. But what I saw was men in my industry, colleagues of mine, if you will, some friends, some not, were being offered men with less influence than me, with less accolades, less national acclaim, were being offered partnerships, we're being offered money, we're being offered by single people saying, one investor saying, I would love to build you the restaurant of your dreams. Not one person reached out to me. Not only was I on national television, not only did I win huge awards, but not one person reached out to me and offered to partner with me to build a restaurant. Not one person offered me money. Not one person offered me anything. And I watched as time and time again, men were offered amazing deals, so on and so forth. Now, at this point, am I glad that I own my restaurants on my own? Absolutely. I own my restaurants 100%. That is actually very rare in our industry. But at the time, I thought, why are these opportunities not being offered to me? And I raised money little by little by little. People that I knew, people I had done charity events with, people who had never invested before. I have the best investors. I'm so grateful, truly, truly, truly grateful. But those opportunities were not handed to me. And the best thing that I can do, I think, is I speak on a lot of panels across the country. The best thing I always say to specifically women who are trying to open a restaurant, fund a restaurant, I say, email me, I will give you my business plan. I will give you my business plan for my first restaurant. It has 10 years of projections for financials. How can I help you? I will give you the name of, there is only one bank in Boston that will give a small business loan to a restaurant. There is only one. I will give you the name of my banker. I will give you the name of the woman who does my graphic design. I will give you the name of people who help me with my logo. That will help you do X, Y, and Z. Because if we don't, those women are not being offered opportunities either. Nobody is saying, hey, let me help you. So if we don't reach out and look at each other and say, let me help you, then we're just facing more of the same. It doesn't matter if I succeed. It matters if we all succeed.
Right. Excellent. So, Senator, why don't, if you want to add to that or talk about adversities you faced as you have moved from the community activist that you were to running for office for the first time and winning, and then running for office a second time and winning. It's rare.
I just want to take a point of privilege. I don't think. Hello?
Yes.
I think we all should put a round of applause together for Rachel. I'm deeply emotional seeing you today. And thank you for what you did for us. We didn't deserve you. And I've been thinking about you a lot. You've been on my heart. And the reason why I say this is because I think Rachel and I, Julia has also faced this, but there's a cadre of women, specifically Black and brown women, specifically urban women, who people have just tried to destroy in our city, in our state, right in front of our eyes. And I'm no different, I'm not immune. And it has everything to do with our gender and our placement in society. Recently, I read Isabel Wilkerson's book, Cast. It took me almost a year because it's a very big book. And I watched Ava DuVernay's film on Netflix, you guys should watch, called Origin. And it studies how women, particularly women of color, are in this caste system at the bottom. It studies Indian culture, it studies the Jewish culture and what happened in Europe, and then it studies Black American culture and shows the similarities. Those are two things. I think you should try to read the book and watch the film. I didn't know that I was gonna be a politician. And some days, like today, I woke up, a friend of mine said, you were on my heart, so I'm praying for you. And then I broke like 3 glasses and a bunch of dishes. That's why I was a little late this morning. And I called them back, I said, you better pray harder. Because I don't know what's in the air, what the juju is, but whatever was on your heart, pray a little harder. And I was driven to politics out of something that was horrible. And for many of us in the room, if you're looking for a sign to be what you're called to be, I hope that you're not faced with what I was faced with, which is in 2017, my youngest brother, Michael, went to a Boston nightclub, Cure, and he never made it home. And I watched it all on Snapchat. And in a matter of seconds, he was just gone, basically protecting a friend, and he lost his life. And Michael was a father of 2 kids, and I remember when I got the call at 4 a.m. saying it was Michael and going to Tufts Medical Center. I remember, I was like, what am I gonna do? I'm the oldest, probably the most well-known in my family. And I didn't know what to do. So I'm not gonna go into details, but the idea is that I spent 3 months in deep grief, and I didn't even know it was grief. How many of you guys have been in a situation where you don't even know what you're feeling? I just couldn't get out of bed. I had a dream job. I was running and Clara's in the room, running a community center, which was my dream. My dream was to be a nonprofit leader. So long story short, after months of people asking me to run for office and me saying I couldn't because of my life story, my brother's homicide, my mom being a teen immigrant mom, my father being incarcerated, being from Roxbury, being poor, being immigrant, I finally said yes. And so I just want you to know that part of the adversity that you're gonna go through, sometimes it calls you to be brave, and sometimes that moment that causes you to be brave or courageous is the worst day of your life, right? And sometimes you have to be pushed to your calling. And if that's one thing I could share today, that's what's led me. I could write a book about all the adversity I think Rachel and I have shared, but I will end by saying this. You cannot take the layers of your intersectionality off. I cannot choose today to just stand in the gap of being a woman, and tomorrow say I'm a Black woman, and the next day say I'm a Cape Verdean woman, a first-generation woman. And if I was queer, I can't take that lens off either. And so we as women in the room is very diverse, need to understand that we need to come as our full selves. And people will not respect it or like it. There's a ton of mediocrity around us. I work in a building where people have a lot of power and they can't even touch my toes, right? But they get a lot of opportunity and power just because of their names, or Donald, McDonald, or their father was in office before them. So thank you for inviting me here today, and I look forward to being on the panel.
Wonderful. And Counselor, you're going to be speaking all day, I hope, throughout the day, but can you talk to me a little bit about adversity you've seen and possibly just having to respond to that, right? And media attention, et cetera.
So I want to echo Senator Miranda's gratitude, and I just want to take a quick moment before I dive into my own situation here to acknowledge our former DA and our former USA Attorney General here in the state of Massachusetts, the first Black woman to do so. That it was maybe 8 or 9 months ago, you and I sat down together and I had a vision for you. A vision for you to reclaim your narrative, for you to have space to tell your own story and hold it down and hold us accountable to what it looks like when we hold each other up. And I am so glad that you today said yes to moderating a panel to discuss what it looks like to be who we are in this space, and to do so in a room full of women who are going to hold you down as you continue to climb up. All right? That's right. This is what it looks like when we see ourselves and we affirm those that we love, Rachel, because none of us, you created space for us to be who we are, to speak the way that we do, to not be apologetic about our little rough edges. And when you talk
lots of rough edges.
lots of rough edges, like for real, listen, it is not easy to be a woman of color. It is not easy to be assertive, to be aggressive, to be bold, and to be loud. And when we are shamed for it. We are told to tone it down, to water ourselves down so that we can make other people feel uncomfortable, right? And so for me, what I have faced as the first Afro-Latina on the city council, especially someone like me, that I'm here to fight like hell because we have decades of neglect. It is a labor of love to speak your truth, And the things that both Liz, Rachel, and unfortunately our Congresswoman Ayanna Preston couldn't be here today, but she would have been here as women of color in politics. We have been under attack. And we have felt the wrath of white supremacy because we have the audacity to speak truth to power. And so what hurts me the most is that my daughter has had to witness the backlash that I've had to face publicly. And that is what I carry in my heart, because she wants the best for her mother. But when I'm on the news and people are attacking my character, it is she who feels that the most. And that is what I carry. And that is what is the hardest thing for me to be a public official, knowing that my daughter deserves to see. And I'm glad that I fight back the way that I do, because I every day inspire her to recognize her own greatness. But that is the hardest part of dealing with adversity, is the impact that it has on our families.
And Chef, we had a really interesting conversation about, people want to see you succeed, but not that much. Not too much, right? Don't get too big for your britches, right? And so, I know we don't have much time left. I'd love it if everyone got to maybe answer this question. And I have one question I'd like to ask each of you. But can you talk a little bit about, you shared with when you go from one restaurant to 2 to 3, right? When you should not be the person making the chicken or the delicious, all the stuff every night at the restaurant, but the people who love you. And I think there's so many similarities actually between being a restaurateur and a chef and running for office. You might not think so, but it's raising money, it's the crazy hours, it's the, ascension and the very few women and people of color or other impacted communities. Talk to us a little bit about what that feels like when you get those complaints or people aren't happy to see you succeed.
I think that people are happy if you succeed a little.
Yeah.
Oh, you've done well. You won your first election. You opened your first restaurant. People will come out in droves to champion you, especially if it's small. People like you to stay small. They like you to do well, but not too well. They like you to stay small. If you do more, you will see people fall away. The congratulations fall away. If you do more, if you rise higher, you see a little bit more of that fall away. The more you do, the more you see who's truly happy for you and who was just happy for you to have just a little taste, just a little bit of success or power or of influence. And I always say that if I ever wrote a book, the title would be called "Who the Fuck Does She Think She Is?" Because I feel like that has been the story of my life. Well, like, who does she think she is?
We'll say who the pluck.
Yeah, who the fuck does she think she is? To be able to do this, to be able to do that, to continue to say, I'm going to take on this next project. And I say, well, if I don't, somebody else will. If not me, then who? Right? Some dude, right? He's going to come in, he's going to take that opportunity. So I'm going to take it instead, and I'm going to figure out how to do it. People say to me all the time, well, I came to your restaurant the other night and you weren't there. I did not see you in the kitchen. It was a Saturday night. And I say, yes, I have 3 restaurants and I have a 17-month-old child. And so I do not work on weekends anymore. I've been working in restaurants since I was 16 years old. I am 45 years old. Have I not earned the right to have a Saturday night off? Have I not trained my team well enough? Have I not hired, taught, trained, and promoted the folks on my team who are all, my senior level managers are all women. Are they not doing an amazing job? They are. They do not need me to be standing there on a Saturday night. But that is not, people don't think that. And I said, I use this it's kind of a silly, metaphor, but it's like Ms. Coca-Cola is not the person putting the soda in the bottles, right? So you do not see me there sweating and making the chicken. I did that for years, 20 years. I was the person making your chicken. And right now, I run my businesses. I teach and train. I create. I come up with my dishes. I create the concepts for my restaurants and the things that I do. But I am not physically the person standing there, and people do not like that.
Right, yeah. And let me ask Senator and Councilwoman, when the attacks come from places you would assume, reptile man or turtle boy or something like that, they still hurt, but you expect it. Senator, when they come from your, an emotionally disturbed person in your own community, right, hypothetically, right, I'm sorry. Can we talk a little bit about, and can we start with you, Counselor? What is that like? You touched on that and became emotional when you think about your daughter Annalise having to hear these falsehoods and these lies said about you, and even having them merit a response, right? And we might not have the privilege of staying silent and just ignoring it because it starts blowing up. Go ahead.
Yeah, and I'm the type of person that I lean into it. Like, don't come for me and think I'm just not gonna clap back. I'm gonna let you know about yourself because that's just how I was raised, right? And so people are not used to that, right? They're not. But I think that we are used to getting it from the other side, but when it's our own people, right, who actually believe the lies and then feed into it, that hurts even more, right? And when our own people don't stand up for you, that hurts as well. And I think that there's something to be said about what it looks like to have courage to speak when you're defending someone else who's not in that room. That I think that is a gift, right? And that's also a responsibility that as women that we need to really start checking ourselves with. If when you hear something, do you speak up? Because if you don't, then you're also participating in that bad behavior.
That's excellent. And it's terrifying, right? Because we don't often have a lot of power, and it takes power to be able to stand and say, and look, turn on the TV and watch it happen every day. Yeah, I don't care. I'm still voting for that person. Right? Did you see the 58 indictment that came down in the 17th different jurisdiction? Yep, they have my vote, right? So I'm not saying you need to respond that way, but just we do need to stand up and support when things happen. Senator?
I'm going to paint a picture for you. Rachel mentioned in 2021, I was Wellesley College's commencement speaker. Now, thank you. I'm really proud to be a senator. I was very proud to be a representative, but as a first generation college student, when your mom has you at 17 years old and drops out of Madison Park High School and becomes a cook in a Boston hotel and does that till today, and you get to go to Wellesley and MIT and you graduate from that institution and you come back 20 years later and you're the commencement speaker on the same stage as Whoopi Goldberg, Maya Angelou, Hillary Clinton, Madeleine Albright. That was a big deal for me. And because of my role, that was stolen from me. In 2021, my father got diagnosed with lung cancer. I was dealing with his sickness for a long time. But also in 2021, I was dating a man in another state, and then in a few short months, my life got turned upside down. When you talk about your family, I was in everybody's group chat, and all I did was date a man who lied to me. How many of you guys have had a man lie to you or a woman lie to you in a relationship? No one's immune. I don't care what my title was, it wasn't immune. And when DA Rollins, U.S. Attorney Rollins mentioned it hurts more when it's someone in your community, that man lived in another state. In a matter of hours, because of social media, a woman began harassing me and created a fake page. She didn't think that was enough. She invited all my colleagues to that page and my family members and friends, but she didn't think that was enough. So she emailed all my colleagues, she emailed the Secretary of State, and then a gentleman in this community decided to harass me. And he brought it into the Cape Verdean community. Now, a lot of communities care a lot about image, but when you're in an immigrant community, your image is everything. And my father was dying of cancer. My mother was fielding calls from people being like, what did Bethy do? That's my own name. And I had to deal with the fact that I was on everybody's group chat and internet. And I just want to bring me back to that point because I'm a human, okay? First. I have a heart, I have a mind. This First Amendment bullshit, excuse my language, that men get the okay to harass and belittle you and defame you and essentially destroy your life in front of people is not okay. And so I bounced back from that 3 years later, But I would have rather not had to deal with the authorities, to call my friends and be like, how do I get this guy off the internet talking about me? Just for the courts to tell me, well, there's not a lot of case law on social media harassment. But thank God, just 2 weeks ago, we just passed a law to make it illegal, a bill in Massachusetts for revenge porn, and to make sure we stand up and adapt for women. So I'll stop there, but just to talk about how you could be so high and achieve so many great things. And because we don't get second chances, we don't get to make a mistake and bounce back. So many people said I was not Senate material after those lies. It was not true.
Yeah.
I just dated someone who lied to me. I didn't destroy any other woman's life. In fact, my heart was broken. But I learned from that you often have to stand up and speak your truth. I wanted to hide. I wanted to crawl under my bed and just die, literally. But what I chose to do was to speak about it and be like, hey, this can happen to any one of us. This can happen to anyone.
And two, she's not gonna say this, but getting a restraining order, as the former DA and US attorney, the prosecutor's office doesn't get you the restraining order. You walk in yourself to court and you have to advocate on your own behalf. And then the individual is summoned in, and then you get to appear before the judge. And she's coming for a legal position, or you should get an honorary law degree, right? But our senator did that on her own and got a restraining order, which the individual promptly violated. And that's when the DA's office jumps in, because it's criminal when that happened. But you're absolutely right. We should have systems that are fighting to assist women. And I'm proud of you for fighting to get the revenge porn law. So I know we have other panels, but I'm going to end with one really good question for each of these women, 30 seconds or less. What are you most proud of, Chef?
Yeah, that's maybe the hardest question that you could ask. I don't know. I have a very hard time being proud of myself. I do. I think anytime I'm very quick to you achieve something and then you say, okay, well that's done. I don't even think about that anymore. I think one of the things that I'm most proud about are my team that I work with, that I try constantly to give them opportunity. I believe that every single person has unlimited potential inside of them. Everyone's dreams, everyone's goals are different, but that whatever I can do to help them achieve and attain their goals and dreams, whatever they may be, like that is what I'm here for. That is my work. That is my joy. That is what I get to do every day. So all the other stuff is great, but all those other things, the success and the achievements, build a platform for me to create opportunities for my team and to get them where they want to be. And I haven't had anybody do that for me. And so that's my work, and that is something that I feel incredibly proud of. We're proud of you too.
Senator?
I think I'm most proud to be Maria's daughter, and 43 years after she had to make a decision that totally altered her life, altered her dreams, that I can be the first Cape Verdean woman in this country as state senator. And if you've ever been in that position where you've been shamed, kicked out of your home, ridiculed as a young mom, I think that is where I'm most happiest. And the second, 1A, is I'm in a position of power to help people every day. And I love the fact that I can call someone back and say, hey, that admissions, that college, they put you on a wait list, you're getting in. Or you wanted an apartment, you get it, So being in that position to help people is really important to me.
Counselor?
Oh my God, I'm such a crybaby. I know. I need to get my refill. My girl's here, Candy Rain. That's right. That's my girl. She does my eyebrows and my eyelashes. That's right. I might need a refill today. But I think what I am most proud of is very similar to State Senator Miranda, is that my mom came to this country with a bag full of dreams, And I remember the first time I had to speak up, I was 9 years old, and I was in the welfare office advocating on her behalf and translating for her. And I remember fighting for my mom at 9. And when it was my turn to translate for my mom, I told the case manager that my mom said that she was being incredibly mean, and just because we were poor doesn't necessarily mean that she had to treat us like that. My mom never said that, y'all. I did. And what I am so proud of is that even at that age, I spoke up. And I have not stopped speaking up. Even when my voice quivers, and you know that quote, you still speak your truth. And I'm so glad that I do that. And I'm so proud that I create space for other people to be vulnerable in their own power. Because that gives us a platform to say that I can be who I am and still walk into a space and be embraced. And that is our superpower.
Love it, love it. So we will end this panel with 2 quick things. Back in the presidential election with Amy Klobuchar, who was a United States Senator for Minnesota, and Pete Buttigieg, who is now our United States Secretary of Transportation under President Biden, but at the time was the former mayor of South Bend, Indiana. Google, where is South Bend, Indiana? Population approximately 100,000 people. Senator Klobuchar made a statement that if Pete Buttigieg was a woman, he would not be running for president of the United States. And she was grilled for that. She was asked on a debate stage, why would you say that? And she said, I mean no disrespect to him. But I am a former elected district attorney, essentially, and a United States senator. And people ask whether I'm qualified to be president, right, of the United States. But Pete, who has, to put this in context, Mayor Wu, Boston, approximately 700,000 people are in Boston, roughly. We are the second smallest large U.S. city in the United States of America, and Mayor Wu oversees 7 times the people that Pete Buttigieg did. And men can fail or be mediocre upward, right, all the time. And sadly, we don't often get those opportunities. But learn from these 3 phenomenal women. Ask that chef for her business plan. You're gonna have to sign an NDA. You bet you will. But if you're serious about this, take advantage of these women. And I will leave you with, grapes have to be crushed to make wine. Diamonds are only formed under pressure. And every seed you see was born out of complete darkness. So don't dwell in the negative, it is there. Don't dwell in the failure, but exceptional people get out of failure quicker than other people do. You got up out of underneath your bed, you told that man to kick rocks, and you are now a state senator. And chefs will expect to see more restaurants, and hopefully we appreciate your leadership. Thank you very much.